Hey there, welcome to Life Noggin. In 2010, the United Nations declared the decade of 2011 to 2020 the decade of biodiversity to raise awareness of the importance of biodiversity and the need to protect it. But why is biodiversity so important? You know, the variety of living things in an ecosystem. What would happen if we lost some of it? To answer these questions, let's dig a little deeper with our paleontologist. Hi there, welcome to my lab. Today we're going to talk about biodiversity. Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with dinosaurs? Well, biodiversity is all about the variety of living things, including dinosaurs, plants, microbes, fungi, and anything else that's out there. And since I study fossils, I get to look at how biodiversity has changed over millions of years. Now let's start with the basics. Biodiversity can be measured a few different ways. One way is by looking at the number of different types of organisms. So for example, here in the lab, we have fossils from several different kinds of dinosaurs. We also have fossils of other animals, like turtles and fish. There are also invertebrates like this fossil coral. And finally, we have plants too. Altogether, that's a lot of different types of organisms. Another way we measure biodiversity is by looking at the number of individuals of each type. For example, we know that there were lots of triceratops that lived around here because we found a lot of their fossils. But there were likely far fewer of the other types of dinosaurs like Ankylosaurus. And in addition to looking at the number of organisms, we can also look at the genetic diversity within each type. Just like you and I, no two triceratops were exactly alike. They each had their own unique traits and they all had different genes. The more genes a population has, the healthier it is. So populations that have lots of different genes can adapt better to changes in their environment. So having lots of biodiversity, both in a number of different types of organisms and in the genetic diversity of those organisms, is a good thing. So now that we know what biodiversity is, let's talk about why it's so important. First, healthy ecosystems with lots of biodiversity provide us with many ecosystem services. That's actually a fancy term for the benefits that humans get from the environment just for existing. For example, plants use carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight to make their food. When they do this, they take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen into the air. This means that areas with lots of plants like forests are great for cleaning the air. So breathing in air from a forest helps get rid of carbon dioxide, which is a great thing since too much of it is causing global warming. So thanks, trees. Forests with lots of different kinds of trees are even better at cleaning the air than those with only one kind of tree because different trees have different lifespans. So there's always some trees that are dropping their leaves or needles while others are photosynthesizing. Plants also help clean our water. Wetlands, which are full of biodiversity, especially in the types of plants, help filter out pollutants like excess nutrients and sediment from the water, making it safer for humans and wildlife. And soil is another ecosystem service provided by biodiversity. It's made up of organic matter like dead leaves and microorganisms. Microorganisms decompose the organic matter and turn it into nutrients that plants can use, which is why areas with lots of biodiversity tend to be more fertile and able to support more life. So biodiversity cleans our air and water and creates healthy soil, which means it makes the planet more habitable for humans and other animals. So remember that next time you enjoy a breath of fresh air, a glass of clean drinking water, or a homegrown carrot. And speaking of homegrown food, biodiversity is important for our food supply too. Over the years, humans have selectively bred plants and animals for certain desirable traits like bigger fruit or faster growth. But these domesticated plants and animals are only a small percentage of the total biodiversity available. Most wild plants and animals aren't very tasty or easy to domesticate, but they could be a valuable food source in the future. For example, scientists are exploring the potential of insects as a new protein source. Insects are already a staple of the diet in some cultures, but they could help fight world hunger if we can find a way to farm them more easily. If we lose biodiversity, we lose the opportunity to discover new food sources like this. So preserving biodiversity means we have more options to choose from in the future. But it doesn't end there. Biodiversity also provides us with medicines. Many modern medicines are derived from plants and other organisms. For example, the painkiller salicin was isolated from the bark of willow trees, and the rosy periwinkle has been used to treat leukemia and Hodgkin's disease. Even the antibiotic penicillin came from a fungus. But just because something has been used medicinally in the past doesn't mean it will be in the future. We can't use medicine derived from organisms that no longer exist. So protecting biodiversity means protecting potential cures to diseases that we don't even know about yet. So not only does biodiversity provide us with ecosystem services like clean air and water, but it also gives us food and medicine. But the benefits go beyond that too. Biodiversity is just plain awesome. Think about it. Every single organism on the planet is beautifully adapted to its environment. Take this fossil bird, for example. Its beak was perfectly suited to eating fruit. Or consider this fossil mammal. Its teeth were adapted for grinding and crushing, perfect for a diet of leaves. Each of these organisms is special and plays a role in its ecosystem, and that's something to celebrate. But despite all the benefits that biodiversity brings us, we're actually losing it. In the last 50 years, we have driven many species to extinction through habitat destruction and climate change. And when we lose a species, we lose the chance to discover what else it might have taught us. So that's why I study evolution and teach people about dinosaurs. By learning about extinct organisms, we can better understand the world today and find ways to protect it for the future. And that's why I love what I do. Now, thanks for coming to my lab today and learning about biodiversity with me. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, no matter how big or small, every species has a role to play. Thanks for watching this episode of Life Noggin. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to share your thoughts below. And check out our other videos. And remember, keep on thinking.